Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chess Journey to National Master. This round was round 4 of Open Figure the Forge. I didn't play round 3, I took half a point by. And in this round, I got paired up against another chess master. I got paired up against Esperança Cachita, a very strong woman FIDE master from Angola. And yeah, I was just very excited to play 3 masters in a row. So yeah, I mean, yeah, this was an amazing experience for sure. So I had the white pieces. I started with e4, and my opponent went d5, takes, queen takes, and knight c3. So yeah, we got the Scandinavian, and now she played queen d6. So backstory to this game: I had a whole afternoon to prepare for this match, and I just saw that she played a lot of Scandinavians. It, yeah, I was very prepared, and I was trying to, to punish this opening choice. So yeah, I went d4. This is also, I want to point out, this is not the first time that I actually faced this line in this journey. Actually, not too long ago, I played against a FIDE master from Portugal that also played this queen d6 line. So I remembered some prep, and I did an extra amount of prep for this game. So yeah, I was very, very confident about this game. So knight f6, knight f3, a6 by my opponent, and now g3. I feel like this is the most critical line against the queen d6 Scandinavian, with the point that after g3 I just want to develop my bishop to f4, bishop to g2, and just castle. And it feels like black should be under a lot of pressure. My opponent goes bishop g4, makes a lot of sense, putting pressure on the knight on f3 and also pinning the knight. I go h3, bishop h5, and now bishop g2. And my opponent goes knight c6, putting a lot of pressure on the d4 pawn. This is very typical of these lines in the Scandinavian. Normally, black, wastes some time with the queen, but they get counterplay around the d4 pawn, and maybe even putting a rook on d8. So yeah, very, very nice. Here I played d5, which was part of my preparation, and it looks like a bit of a mysterious move. It looks like a blunder, honestly. But yeah, I was very happy that I got this on the board, and yeah, I was ready for the fight. So my opponent goes knight b4, the best move, putting tremendous amount of pressure on the d5 pawn, and now there's no real way to defend the pawn. The point of this d5 move is literally to just sacrifice the pawn and gain time. I go bishop f4, attacking the queen. The queen drops back to d8. I looked at queen d8, which my opponent played, and I also looked at queen c5, but I'm not going to go too deep into these lines. They get very, very complicated. But yeah, my opponent goes for queen d8, and here I just played a simple queen e2. Just saying, okay, take my pawn however you want to take it. She, of course, took the pawn, and I took back with the knight. She took back with the queen. If she takes with the knight here, just a simple rook 81 would put a lot of pressure with this pin. So yeah, she did the correct move with queen takes d5. And now here I simply castle. And this was my prep. I love this position for white. I'm down a pawn, but I have a huge lead in development. My king is already safe. The rooks are going to come to the d file. And black still has 3 pieces on the back rank, and the king is still in the center. So yeah, I stopped the preparation here. I didn't want to go way too deep in a specific line. So yeah, very nice. Here my opponent played c6, defending the pawn on c7, which was attacked. Here I played g4, and after bishop g6, knight e5, and this position is already tremendously dangerous for black. And honestly, yeah, I just thought that I was gonna get a quick miniature in this game, not gonna lie, with everything going my way, prep, position, time. She was also spending a lot of time in the opening because course, I got my prep, and she noticed that this was a dangerous position. So yeah, I was feeling very good at this moment. She played queen c5, and this is pretty much a losing move. Yeah, it's kind of crazy how in just 15 moves you can just get a completely winning position. But here I wasn't able to really spot the correct continuation. I played rook fd1, which it is very impatient and a bit childish, honestly, a bit of a childish move. Here, the winning move is the simple c4. And this move is very simple, seemingly, because it just defends the pawn that was attacked on c2, putting it on c4. And the problem here is that I not only gain space and also prevent any knight d5s, but there's like no useful moves for black. It is it is tough to suggest a move here for black. If my opponent ever plays something like h6, I can just probably simply take here on g6, and although I'm down a pawn, these light squares are gonna be super weak, and I can just bring my rooks to the center, and I should be completely fine and winning. And if my opponent plays rook uh, ad8 to simply try to bring a piece into the game, I can just play the simple rook fd1 or rook ad1 and just threaten to trade these rooks and put a lot of pressure. So yeah, the critical move here would have to be e6, just trying to develop the bishop as fast as she can, and then castle and get her king to safety, try to stabilize the position and claim that she's just up a pawn and she's better. But here, I don't know, I look at this position and I probably just have h4 immediately, which, yeah, looking at it now, the computer points out that h4 is premature because my opponent has a very beautiful tactical resource to defend her position, bishop d6, and it looks like, okay, she's just gonna lose a piece after h5, but she has a very nice tactic here with bishop takes on e5. Of course, I don't want to take with the queen because I'm down a pawn. I don't want to trade queens, and yeah, I should take with the bishop. And but here, it looks like the bishop is trapped, but my opponent has a very beautiful move, bishop d3, a counterattack, attacking my queen, attacking the pawn on c4. And now the point is that after I take the bishop, my opponent also takes my bishop, and yeah, here black is way better. She's not only attacking g4, but she's also attacking b2. Next move, she's gonna castle. And yeah, I lost all my attacking chances, and I should be way worse here. But I can be more patient, and after e6, I can play the simple but very, very strong rook ad1. And the point is that now the tactic doesn't work. If my opponent plays bishop d6 with the idea to meet h4, h5 with bishop d3, doesn't work because the rook is covering the d3 square. But here there's even a better option that completely wins the game on the spot with a beautiful move. Try to spot the tactic, guys. So yeah, the tactic is rook takes on d6. Boom. This is absolutely beautiful. The point is that after queen takes on d6, knight takes on g6, a very beautiful discovered attack. And yeah, black is completely losing. The point is that after I took the bishop on g6, this bishop is attacking the queen, and the knight is defending the bishop, and the knight is also attacking the rook. So yeah, this is over. Very beautiful. So here after rook ad1, my opponent would have to play something more calm like e7 and try to castle. But here I can just go on with my plan of playing h4. And if my opponent ever touches the h pawn like h6 or h5, I always have knight takes on g6, f takes on g6, and here I can just take here on e6 with the queen, and this is completely losing for black. I mean, the king is stuck in the center. I equalize the material, but that's not even the point. I mean, the rooks, everything is placed to give checkmate, and yeah, it is just over. So, I mean, the only try is really to castle, but I mean, this walks into h5, and now there's no way to save this bishop. You really have to just ignore that the bishop is hanging with something like rook 88 and just allow me to take on g6. This is like the best continuation for black, so yeah, I would be completely winning up a piece. So yeah, I played rook fd1, and here my opponent made a huge mistake with e6, allowing me to transpose to the variation that we just saw with c4. I mean, it doesn't really matter that the rooks are different here on the d file. This comes down to the same thing that we just saw. So yeah, I of course I didn't play c4 on the last move. I wouldn't play c4 now. I think I completely missed the point of the position. I just played h4, and the idea was correct, trying to trap the bishop, but the execution was poor because now I just allow my opponent to take on c2. She takes a second pawn, and I thought that I was a genius because I was just gonna sacrifice everything and get a winning position with like rook d2. And yeah, first of all, I missed his simple move, which is a very, very strong move by my opponent. Just queen a4, attacking the bishop. And now I have to waste time to defend the bishop. I play knight c4, which is, it's a nice move. It's a dynamic way to defend the bishop. Opponent played h6, trying to just save her bishop, which I feel like it's correct. Here I play h5 anyways. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I needed to play h5, but the computer likes h5 a lot, so yeah, h5, bishop h7, and now I played rook d4. It looks like a weird move, but it has its merits. I'm threatening knight d6 check to pick up the queen. My opponent, of course, doesn't fall for that. She plays queen b5, and here I play a4, attacking the queen b3, and now I finally bring the last piece into the game with rook a d1. And we reach this like mad position. This is like actually a very, very, very rich position. The computer calls it dead equal. I'm down 2 pawns, but my pieces are all very well placed and looking at our king. And yeah, actually a very, very interesting position here. But let's see what happened in the game. My opponent plays bishop c5, which is one of the best moves. Here I play knight d6 check, king e7, and now I played rook c4. And my opponent defended the bishop with b6, and here I had a big, big think. Actually, I had a big, big think after bishop c5, but you know, when we reached this position, I had another big think. Because yeah, this is like a very critical position. You know, to me, it looked like I had to come up with something now, otherwise I would just be worse or even losing because I'm still down 2 pawns. And all of a sudden, I feel like this king e7 move is very strong because she's basically saying that she doesn't need to castle and she can just bring the rooks into the game with rook d8, and the king actually is safe here on e7 as it is. So yeah, I mean, I looked at a few moves, but the move that I was trying to make work was the most obvious, bishop takes on c6, which ends up being the best move in the position. But I really didn't know what I was gonna do after the simple rook a8, and I didn't see anything here for white. Yeah, it looks like my opponent is just gonna liquidate the position with bishop takes on d6. And yeah, I mean, I'm in huge trouble if she gets to consolidate her position, still be up a pawn, and all of a sudden her pieces are gonna, you know, come to life, and the king is actually super safe here. and my pieces are a bit loose here, you know. The queen is kind of keeping everything together here, but yeah, um this there's only like really one good move here that wins. Actually, this position is winning, believe it or not, for white. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to put you guys on the spot and try to guess the move, because this is actually quite deep. But the point is that here I have the winning move, rook takes on c5, just sacrificing an exchange on top of the pawns sacrificed already, you know. Um, and the point is that after the only move, there's only one move that wins here, which is rook d2, a very, very just calm and just prophylactic move. Just putting the rook on the square that it's defended, you know. Here, apparently, there's no moves for black. Like, any move with the queen immediately loses. Say, queen b6 looks good, attacking the bishop and also, you know, putting pressure on the knight. Here, this is completely losing after the brilliant knight c8 check. And the point is that after rook takes on c8, I have bishop d6 check. And yeah, like the king is just completely stuck here with these bishops. I mean, this is beautiful. This is forced, and just bishop takes on c5 check, and it's over. Um, yeah, if my opponent goes queen b8, it is even simpler. It's just knight f5 check. I'm not checkmating, but I'm winning the queen, so you know, good enough. And if my opponent plays like queen b4 attacking this bishop, I have the same stuff with knight c8 check, and yeah, it is over. It's the same thing. Brutal moves here. But let's say my opponent sees this and just plays king f8, which is the best move. Just sidestepping all those tactics. Here, apparently, I have either queen takes on a6 with a winning position. I mean, it's really hard for me to assess this as a winning position. I don't see anything immediate, and yeah, it is winning according to the computer somehow. Um, or knight f5. I mean, yeah, I'm not even gonna spend too much time looking at this. This looks like crazy, and you had to spot all of this from this position after b6. You had to spot everything that I just saw, that I just showed you guys from this position. I mean, good luck. I mean, what? I mean, geez, I'm not a super GM. Here I made a move that I kind of came to terms. You know, I spent a long time calculating here, like something like 20 minutes, and yeah, I just sacrificed the exchange. I mean, yeah, this is crazy. B takes on c5. Yeah, I thought that I had some chances to create counterplay in a very dynamic position here with knight f5 check, bishop takes on f5, bishop d6 check, king d7 here, and now bishop takes on c5 check. After knight d5, g takes on f5, and my opponent played rook e8. And yeah, this is crazy. This is a crazy position. I not only sacrificed 2 pawns earlier on, but now I sacrificed an exchange on top of that. And I mean, the computer somehow calls this equal. Um, it's hard to believe, but it is a super crazy position. And I kind of, I just said, okay, I have to go all in. I mean, I started the game super energetic with a lot of sacrifices, and yeah, I mean, I might as well go down swinging. If I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna just create some fire on the board and make it as complicated as possible. And okay, we are on move 30, and we are both very low on the clock. We had less than 10 minutes. already, each of us. So yeah, I mean, let's just see how this game proceeded. This craziness after rook e8. I just played queen g4, trying to activate the queen somehow. She brought the last piece into the game, rook a d8. I took on e6 check, rook takes on e6, and now I played rook d4. My opponent played king c7, just trying to sidestep all the pins. I played queen takes on g7, finally taking back some material. She played rook d7, defending the f7 pawn, and now I play queen f8. I don't really care about this b2 pawn. I'm almost screaming, just take that pawn. I'm trying to somehow infiltrate uh, through the back rank. This is crazy. I was like, damn, I mean, what am I gonna do in this position? I mean, it looks like a online blitz game or bullet game almost. And we were below 5 minutes, both of us at this point. We are on move 35. And in this tournament, thankfully for me, we got a extra bonus time on move 40 of 30 minutes. She was playing well. She played queen b8, threatening to trade queens. Of course, I will not accept that. Queen g7 back, and now she finally took the pawn on b2. Here I played queen g3 check. Of course, the pawn on b2 hanging was a bluff from me. She played king c8 here, and I played king h2, just trying to dodge any tricks on the back rank. Although this kind of looks like it allows her to trade queens, which she tried with queen b8. Here, I mean, the best move is to take the queen on b8, but I would never, never in a million years play that move. Never ever, like no way. But yeah, I guess the point is that after queen takes on b8, king takes on b8, I have bishop h3 with the a double attack on these rooks. But no, I wasn't looking at the queen trade. No, oh hell no. I played f4, just keeping the queens on the board and like just opening everything in front of my king. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. We are on move 39, so we both need to make one more move for the time control. She plays knight f6, and I play uh, rook b4. This was my last move before time control, and now she played queen c7. And here we reach this very critical position where we both got 30 minutes extra on our clocks for reaching move 40. And I mean, I just completely relaxed. I was like, oh my god. But I wasn't very happy. I just stood up from the board. I went to the bathroom. I just peed, washed my hands, washed my face, and while I was in the bathroom, I was just thinking like, I mean, I don't think I have enough to win. I mean, I think I'm completely losing, and I mean, we have way too much time here to complicate things, I thought. But at the same time, I was like, I mean, you have to give it your all. I mean, you're not gonna give up now. You just have to keep trying to find complications. Keep, asking your opponent questions on the board and trying to uh, somehow create tactical opportunities. So the problem here is that when I came back to the board, I don't know. I feel like this is a phenomenon. Like this is something that happens uh in this type of time controls when you reach move 40 and you get your bonus time. I feel like I just completely lost focus. Like I couldn't concentrate on the game and I couldn't find a move. It's almost like I was very tense from the time pressure, and then I relaxed, and when I came back to the board I just couldn't come up with any move. Like I was just playing on instinct before, and now like that I had to think about the position, I just couldn't make a move. I mean, I didn't know how I was gonna, make threats on the board. I felt like if I ever played bishop h3, which I considered, I felt like my opponent would just have rook e2 check, and like I was gonna be in huge trouble. Um, so yeah, I played just queen f3. You know, I was getting so low on the clock that I mean I just came up with this move, which is a very poor move. Not gonna lie, it doesn't really do much. I guess it defends the pawn on h5 and puts some pressure on c6, but it is very slow. And here I was already down to like 6 minutes. I'm not even gonna lie, I spent like 24 minutes to make this horrible move queen f3. I spent like 26 minutes, and the thing that hurt me the most was that okay, my opponent just immediately played rook d5. Like I played bishop f2, coming back with the bishop. She played uh queen d6, and I played rook b6, and yeah, here she played um rook d3, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, something changed in my body. I suddenly saw like a tactic, and I started like gaining a lot of energy and like hope. And all of a sudden I was like just playing super fast and immediately, and stuff was coming to my head, like ideas. I played rook takes on c6 check, beautiful tactic. She started thinking for a long time. I don't think she saw this move. This move is not like incredible. Um yeah, I guess she just takes the rook on c6 and I take on d3. But I mean, yeah, it for me it looked like fantastic because I traded a pair of rooks, which is important, and now I have these two beautiful bishops along these diagonals. This queen in the middle of the board controls like a lot of stuff, can gives a lot of checks, and I was all of a sudden very happy. And she started thinking, and all of a sudden she was getting also low on the clock, and I was gaining some like confidence out of nowhere. Here she played rook d6, counterattacking the queen, saying that, okay, if you take the queen on c6, I take your queen. But yeah, this move didn't do much. Apart from that, I just played queen f5 check. I just want to rewind to this moment. Here, actually, I was completely losing, but my opponent had to find a very precise move, knight g4 check, which I was sort of looking at it during the game, and I was like hoping that she didn't play it. The point is that, okay, I have to move my king g3, and now my opponent has this very nasty move that wins for her. Knight takes on f2. The point is that she just took my bishop on f2. If I take the queen, she takes back. She's just up a rook. And if I play king takes on f2, I mean, this king is gonna be hunted down. Queen c5 check, and all of a sudden I'm the one defending. It's not good for me. But to my pleasant surprise, she didn't see all of this. It's also very hard because of course we were both very nervous, and all of a sudden she was also spending a lot of time on the clock, and I was looking confident, not gonna lie. So yeah, going back to the game here, queen f5 check. My opponent has to bring the queen back to d7. Here I bring the queen to c2, c2 check, queen c7, queen f5 check, knight d7. So yeah, I mean, if my opponent repeated moves with queen d7, I would repeat moves and I would take the draw. I was very happy with the draw in this position, of course. But my opponent played knight d7. It also, points that she's a fighter. She is not just gonna simply take a draw. She's just gonna keep fighting and trying to win. Here I take one f7 with a queen. All of a sudden I'm back in the game. The computer points out that it's equal, and here she played this move, which is close to losing, honestly. It's very bad, but I didn't spot the win. I just played queen g8 check, which is the wrong checking square. The winning move was it was very hard to spot all of this from a distance with 2 minutes on the clock or 1 minute on the clock. Queen e8 check. And the point is that, of course, my opponent can't move the king, so this is forced. Queen d8. And now I can just simply just play bishop e7 check. Very strong move. If my opponent takes the bishop, I take the queen. So, king c7 is forced, but after queen takes on d8 check, king takes on d8, I have bishop h4 at the end with this pin. And yeah, this would just lead to a winning endgame for me. Let's say king c7. I can just take on f6. And yeah, knight takes on f6. Bishop takes on a6. And now I'm up 2 pawns. Okay, my opponent can take here on h5. But yeah, after f5, this endgame is technically winning. The knight is very poor against the bishop with the pawns on both sides, and I'm very close to also trying to pick up this pawn and help this pawn out. So yeah, I think I would win this endgame. But rook f8 blocking, and now I bring the queen back. Okay, I might be threatening queen a8 check. I mean, this was very fun to play this position. It's crazy because, like, I mean, it looks like even this pawn looks hanging, but bishop g3. So, I mean, these bishops are actually monsters here on these diagonals. And yeah, I don't know. I think my king is safer than this king. This is crazy. I love to look at this game. This game is amazing. Queen d5 by me. My opponent took on f4, and this is actually the best move. I mean, props to her for finding this, because this wasn't easy to spot in my opinion. She found the move that kind of holds the game for black, because now it feels like black is the one trying to fight for a draw. But yeah, here I played queen a8 check, and after knight b6, but yeah, here I played queen a8 check, and after knight b8, bishop g3. It looks, oh my god, I'm winning, because all of a sudden I tricked my opponent. But she has a trick of her own. She has rook h4 check, which is a very nice trick. The point is that my opponent, I can't really take the rook because the bishop is pinned to the king. But I have a counter check with bishop h3 check, and now my opponent is forced to sacrifice the exchange back, and I take the rook, and now she has like perpetual check. And yeah, I mean, maybe I could play out and try to dodge the checks, but that would be too risky. And we were already like playing for 5 hours. So yeah, it was time to just call it a day, and we agreed to a draw here. I mean, this has to be one of the most beautiful and interesting games that I've played in this journey. This is like for sure top three of my favorite games ever. This is like amazing, very instructive tactics, also positional decisions, and yeah, just never give up. Just keep trying to find uh, ideas, and I mean, what a beautiful game. I hope you guys enjoyed this game as much as I did, and I'll see you guys for round 5 of this amazing tournament. Bye bye.